It's the next level.
Hmm? Ah! Oh.
Were you able to remove the tumor?
Yeah. You'll want to do a biopsy, see if it's malignant. So what now? I just go back to my cell?
Until they figure out what to do with you.
They. What did he say?
I'm sorry?
Ben. What did he say that made you want to save his life?
It doesn't really matter what he said.
It matters to me. After everything that I have been put through, you owe me an answer. I want to know what he said.
I've been on this island for 3 years, Jack. 3 years, 2 months, and 28 days. He said that if I let him live, and I helped you, that he would finally let me go home.
Welcome to another episode of We Have to Go Back, Lost Revisited, as we continue even further into our journey of the third season of the series. I'm one of your hosts, Ben.
I'm the other one of your hosts, Kristen. This week we go into Season 3, Episode 7, Not in Portland, which coincidentally, this one is my favorite episode, not last week's episode. It's what comes after Damn It, Kate Run that I get like real excited.
Yeah, because I mean, this episode literally takes place. Actually, it kind of backtracks a little bit. We kind of like get about 10 to 15 seconds before the whole Damn It, Kate Damn It Run,
Mm-hmm.
and then it just continues on.
Yeah.
Without a break. So,
and by the way, we made you wait 2 weeks because we had to wait 13 weeks originally. So be excited about that.
Oh God, no, we're not that big of dicks. No, it's my fault. It's totally my fault. I got the flu, so unfortunately my voice was kind of scraggly. I didn't have much of a voice left, so it was almost impossible to record. So apologies for that. It's almost to the point where I feel like I'm getting tired of apologizing, but it's, shit happens. I can't really help it. Unfortunately, we don't want to deliver an inferior podcast to you guys. So like, I didn't want to have to suffer through it and be coughing, and because that's not what you guys want to hear. You want to hear us. You don't want to hear sick.
I was prepared.
I know you were.
I wasn't. I do want to say something before we go into our episode. So
sure.
I don't know if anybody has been listening. I don't know who listens to what podcast, but over the past couple of weeks, I have been binging Ben's podcast, Still Afraid of the Dark, or Still Afraid, or whatever it's called. I don't know.
Still Afraid of the Dark. You are right.
It's fantastic. It's so fun. It's so fun. It's so easy to listen to. I've seen almost all of the movies I haven't seen. I go and I watch them. The best part is like last night I was able to watch Casper with my kids who are 6 and 8. And my kids are like really big Ghostbusters fans. So I feel like we can actually listen to the podcast as a family in the car instead of me just putting it in my headphones, which is really great because they've made it family friendly. So it's like family friendly movies. It's family friendly podcast, but there's drinks involved. I do have one criticism, and that's only, and I've already addressed it with you, Ben, is that I'm not on Facebook, and I really want the recipes in the show notes. So
well, you know, and I think I might have mentioned, I don't know if I mentioned this part to you or not, because I know you and I are talking about doing a Christmas spinoff of the podcast.
Yes, I really want to do that.
Which I do too. In which we'll do the drinks for that as well. And mixologist Rob has already agreed that he'll help us with the drinks for that. But the potential plan right now is once we get a season 2 of Still Afraid of the Dark in the book, so by the end of next year, we plan to actually release a next level drink book.
Oh, cool.
With all the recipes of the drinks we did this season, all the drinks of the ones we do next season, and probably most likely the holiday drinks that we do for our Christmas spinoff. So,
that is so fun. And if you know what, he should also create a drink for each of the Next Level podcasts, just like a Lost drink, a DC Prime drink.
Well, here's the thing too. I mean,
talking with C and B, or I'm sorry,
T and B. No, it's
Thank
fine.
You. I tried.
You know, and yeah, we can call the one for this podcast the memory eraser, because apparently some people try to.
There's already a drink called the memory eraser.
Oh, I know there is. But you know, first off, thank you for that feedback, because you and I, we didn't discuss this. You just sprung this on me randomly, and I love it. But for anybody who does go and listen to that podcast and is on Facebook and goes to the Next Level Facebook page, which is facebook.com/the Next Level Network, there are drink recipe videos on there. And if you actually record yourself making one of those drinks and send it or message it to us or give us a link to it or something, where all the people that do that, their names are getting entered into a drawing. And if your name is drawn, Rob is actually going to create a drink based on you.
Okay. I didn't know that. So I would I want in on this. Because I'll do it half drunk.
Oh, God, that'll make it even better.
While playing Beat Saber.
Yeah, I mean, and that drink recipe based on you, not only will we make a video of it and post it on the Facebook page, but it'll be added to the drink book as well.
Yay! So that's such a good idea.
Yeah, it's a cool little costume. But thank you for that feedback. I love that.
Absolutely. Oh, it's been so much fun. Like I'm in the car. I have to drive a half hour to school and a half hour back twice a week. And I have to drive to training once a week, half hour there, half hour back. So I get a good, 3 hours a week of solid podcast time. And usually lately it has been your podcast. And I've had so much fun listening to it. Your guests are great. Rob is great. I've never heard him before because I don't listen to anything with DC because I don't follow DC. But I just love it. I think that you guys do such an excellent job. So good job.
Well, thank you. And you'll enjoy the next one too, because chapter 7, there's 9 chapters. There's chapter 7 is actually getting released today, which by the time you're hearing this was yesterday, is actually just me and Rob. We don't have any guests, and that's only because of the movies that we're discussing. We felt like there's so much to talk about. We wouldn't have even had enough time with just me and Rob.
What are the movies?
We are discussing in chapter 7, it's the tale of the classics, and classics as in classic monsters. We are talking about the Monster Squad and Young Frankenstein.
Oh, so cool. We almost watched Young Frankenstein last night, but we chose Casper instead.
And so we had a lot of fun talking about that. And then the last 2 episodes, which will be next Thursday, and the season finale, which will drop on Halloween night, is chapter 8 is going to be Nightmare on Elm Street, or Nightmare on Elm Street.
That's is not a kids movie. Friendly.
No, Nightmare Before Christmas and
Coraline.
Corpse Bride.
Corpse Bride. Very nice. Very nice.
And then the season finale is going to be The Addams Family, in which we're going to talk about the 1991 version and the new one, the new animated movie that just came out.
We're going to see that tonight.
I'm going to see it next week.
Awesome. So, very awesome. Yeah, I've enjoyed it. I think it's great. And I bought, after listening to the first episode, I bought all 3 books of Stories to Tell in the Dark. Right? That's what it's called?
Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Yeah.
Close enough.
So but I when I got them delivered, I looked at them, I go, oh shit, I remember having these as a kid. And it was just total nostalgia. So I'm just, thank you so much for like letting me revisit my childhood and share it with my kids and just have like this little rebirth of Halloween fun this year. So
yeah,
anyways,
absolutely. That's why we did it. You know what? So rather than just promote it at the end of the podcast, since we just did a good like 5, 6, 7 minutes on it, I'll just say right now, if you want to check it out, I would appreciate it, and highly endorsed by Kristen. Go to thenextlevelnetwork.com/stillafraid and you'll find all the information there, like where you can subscribe to it. Or if you go to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and just search for Still Afraid of the Dark podcast, it'll pop up. So,
and just a quick disclaimer: the very first episode, the mics don't work very well, and so the audio is really really subpar. But the next ones are all fixed and everything's fine, and you can still hear everything. The first episode, it's not Ben's usual quality.
Yeah. Thank you for that too.
Yeah.
The first episode, you're right. We were still dealing with audio issues, but we got them fixed by the end of that episode, and the rest of the chapters have been great.
Yep.
So let's jump into Lost then, because, we have quite a bit to talk about for this episode.
I love this episode.
Season 3, episode 7, Not in Portland. We get our first flashback of another, somebody who's not one of the main castaways. We finally get a flashback for. So, and that's Juliet Burke. So as I usually do, I'm going to turn it over to you. Where do you want to start with this episode?
Oh man, you know what? It's like, where do you start with this episode? Well, let's talk about the introduction of one of my favorite kind of recurring characters that's introduced in this episode, and that's Richard Alpert.
I thought you were going to say Aldo, but okay.
No. No, I was not.
Okay. I knew you weren't.
Yeah, I was really excited that this was the first episode. This is the first episode, right, that we see him?
It is. Yep. First introduction to Richard.
Yeah, and what a great introduction he had. Very mysterious, but, we see him off island. So, and we're going to find out later that this guy does not age. This guy does not age. You always see him no matter what time period you're in. Flashback, flash forward, flash sideways, flash under, flash over. Doesn't matter. Richard Alpert's there.
Real quick, we didn't do this because we jumped into Still Afraid. By the way, spoiler full podcast.
Oh,
that is the format of this show. So we need to get that out of the way now because that's most likely going to happen this episode.
Whoops, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I figured let's get the warning. We usually do it at the top of the podcast. We completely forgot to do it. I figured just get it out of the way now.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, guys.
So now it's said. Nope.
At least it's not that bad of a spoiler.
That's true.
But he is a mysterious character, and I like it because he's mysterious right off the bat. He's with Ethan in the morgue, so you understand that his role is on the island somehow. When he talks about the job being somewhat remote, I loved that. I thought that was just really hilarious because I'm like, yeah, that's a good definition for where they're going. And then, of course, his backwards way of getting Juliet to be free to join the Dharma Initiative or whatever it is that they're calling themselves on the island. I thought that was great, when she said he could get hit by a bus and then it happens, of course. And then he shows up in the morgue. Of course, a brilliant scientist would be able to connect the dots on something like that.
Yeah.
And personally, I'd run screaming from that. I'd be like, oh, you know what? This is I'm in way over my head. I'm just going to back out. Goodbye.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Middleos bioscience is what they call themselves when they're on the mainland, apparently, at least in this episode, which I learned very interestingly is an anagram for lost time. which I had no idea about until
Shut
watching
up.
it this time. Yep.
That's amazing.
Yep. Yeah, an anagram for lost time. So,
ooh, I see it.
And that has been confirmed by Carlton Cuse as well. So that was the point of that, was that it was actually, I think from what I read about it, they actually had revealed that anagram was going to be in the episode before the episode aired.
Oh,
so
cool.
to let people look for that and see that. But yeah, I found it really interesting too, because you kind of brought it up, but the whole, we're kind of remote aspect of what he tells Juliet really does kind of come into play later in the episode. Kind of jumping into the whole Tom Friendly and Jack interaction, which I loved, by the way. I love Tom Friendly. And
he's a great character.
He's such a great character. I love MC Gainey as an actor, and the character of Tom Friendly is so great. And, there's the moment where, Jack talks to Tom and he's like, well, if you have boats and you're able to get off the island, why didn't you just take them off the island for this treatment? And Tom gives him the whole excuse for, when the sky went purple, things changed, which I'll get to in a minute. But, apparently it's the same thing, because when Juliet asks to bring her sister to where they're going, Richard tells her she won't have access to the treatment that she needs. So even 3 years, 2 months, and 28 days earlier from that moment, they still didn't have the regular transport to get off the island as they probably, as people might be guessing they have at this point, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I like how there was the correlation between that, because the whole Richard confirming that they don't have access to treatment doesn't come until the end of the episode.
Right. Well, they can't. Well, I don't think that they knew. Do you think that they knew that if you got pregnant off island, that you would be okay to give birth on island? No, they wouldn't, because that was what made Claire and Aaron so remarkable, that they wanted to study her, right?
I think so. Yeah. Because they really didn't have, as Richard shows, Juliet the scan, and Juliet thinks it's somebody who's like 70 years old, and in actuality, she's 26.
Right.
I feel like it, they didn't have access to on. I don't think they have as much access to on and off the island as people might believe that they have. And I think that later does get confirmed. I think the submarine is really the only way on and off the island at this point. Well, it's not the only way on and off the island, as we'll find out later, as the way that Jack gets off the island, or not Jack gets off the island, Locke gets off the island in a completely different way than everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Well, Jack gets off the island in a completely different way as well. He doesn't leave in a submarine.
No, he doesn't leave in a submarine. But I think, the whole...
This is a spoiler podcast. We're just spoilers. Bam, 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 bam.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Jack, Kate, the
Oceanic Six.
The Oceanic Six. They get off in a completely different way. But that way wasn't available to the others at that point. So...
Right.
But yeah, I think Claire became such an integral part of their research, because this was the first time somebody was actually pregnant on the island, because everybody who lived on the island couldn't get pregnant.
Or if they did get pregnant, they lost the baby, or the woman died. That I can't remember. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry to all the intense Lost fans that are listening to this and slamming their head against a car wheel.
No, I think it is that the woman died, because that was the big fear with Sun, was that it was whether or not she got pregnant on and off the island determined her fate. If she got pregnant on the island, she was most likely going to die.
Which is why it was important for her to leave the island.
Well, yes, because she got pregnant on the island. Yes. See, now I'm glad we did the spoiler warning, because that's we needed it at this point. But, my question to you is, when it comes to Richard visiting Juliet, God, again, here's the spoiler alert. When we get introduced to Jacob later, We found that Jacob has gotten off the island and kind of has recruited and been a part of these people's lives very early on. Like, we're talking when they're kids. And Richard is one of those characters, as you mentioned, that doesn't age. Do you think Juliet's the first doctor they've ever tried to get to the island? Or is she just the one that they finally get to go?
You mean in that position?
In that position to help them with these pregnancy issues.
That's such a great question. I think that maybe they had gone to such lengths to get Juliet to come because maybe past attempts had probably failed. I mean, that's something that will probably never be answered. But that's a good question to think about for sure.
Yeah, because I'm not sure. I mean, my train of thought is I would like to think that she's probably not the first one.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, they've approached other fertility doctors before to try and get them to the island, and either they were unsuccessful or the doctor outlived their use and just the research wasn't complete. Juliet's the first one that actually made strides in that research and was able to, because as we find out in the episode, you know, through her research and, you know, the medicines that she's developing, her sister, who was unable to become pregnant, becomes pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, but she impregnates a male field mouse. You know,
so she's a bit of a savant.
Yeah, she's good at what she does. But you know, to kind of dive into some other things and kind of transition into some other topics for this episode, the one thing I really enjoyed about this episode when it came to Juliet is, you know, obviously the flashbacks we see were 3 years prior. I mentioned 3 years, 2 months, 28 days to prior to what we're seeing in the present day on the island. Man, these are two completely different Juliets.
We're 100%.
We are
but are they?
Well, we're meeting Juliet the timid in the beginning, and then in the present day, Juliet the ruthless.
But she's still controlled by a man. In both instances, because without Edmund around, she was brave. She broke into the lab to get what she needed for her sister. She was still very deft with her research and her work. But when she was confronted by Edmund, she became incredibly submissive. And then you see the same kind of thing happen in this episode. Juliet is a boss in a lot of this episode, but when Ben wakes up and she goes in, she completely changes. She almost hunches over. We've seen her go submissive to Ben when he shows up, because I think that she still has this element of being a submissive against a controlling man like Ben or like Edmund. And it doesn't have to be a man, right? I mean, in a controlling leader. But the elements, the remnants of her past abuse from her ex-husband are still pretty prevalent, I think, in this episode. Because even at the end, she still doesn't defy Ben. She tells Alex, "You have to stay here. You have to." Even though Alex wants to go with Carl, and Juliet knows that that's probably the right decision for Alex, she still doesn't want to defy Ben. She doesn't want to upset him.
Yeah. I guess, you're actually right. I didn't even really think about that in that she is under somebody's thumb to a point. You know, in both versions of herself. And it's not until she's kind of free of that submission that she becomes the person that she is. She becomes brave. She becomes strong. Mm-hmm. I guess you're right. She takes control.
But at the same time, you know, when you think about it, you do also see two different Juliets, because she is stronger. Absolutely. She's stronger. But do you think maybe Jack makes her stronger? Having a potential ally in Jack, even though they kind of had a breakdown in communication and they were pitted against each other in this episode, we know that the two of them become pretty close friends in the next following episodes. And I'm wondering if that gives her the strength to finally leave the camp.
Well, do you feel like that was a miscommunication, or do you think Juliet kind of felt betrayed? Because I mean, and this is not a Jack is the worst moment at all. Jack, we find out, as we talked about during the last episode, during I Do, like this is Jack finally taking a stand and actually kind of in many ways sacrificing his own well-being.
Jack did everything right this episode.
Yeah, absolutely. So do we think that Juliet, because we see Juliet and Jack really butt heads this episode, in that like she even tells them, when you're bringing back Kate and Sawyer, even if it means killing them. And I feel like in that moment when she said that, she meant that. Like she meant if you had to kill them to bring them back, kill them to bring them back. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of that is because Juliet felt betrayed by Jack. She had this plan with Jack to let Ben die on the table so that everybody could be free of Ben. Everybody would be free at that point. Juliet could let Kate and Sawyer go, but Jack decided to use it in a different way and kind of hold Ben hostage. And I think, again, Juliet felt betrayed by that.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that. But, like you said earlier, Jack was doing everything he could to make sure that Sawyer and Kate escaped. He sacrificed himself.
Yeah, he sacrificed his own well-being.
Right, exactly. I completely agree with you there. And maybe Juliet hasn't seen that kind of loyalty in the past 3 years, that she maybe even forgot that it existed.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
I don't know. I mean, it's all guesswork, but the Juliet character to me is just so interesting because she's such a strong character with enormous leadership potential, but she is still damaged from her marriage to Edmund. And when it pops up and when it flares up, like in episodes like today, you can see that she is constantly struggling with this internal battle. And I don't think Elizabeth Mitchell gets the credit that she deserves for portraying such a great character. I think she was a wonderful addition to this show, and a lot of people say that she ruined the show. I've heard that so many times.
Oh, I don't believe that at all.
Right. And I've heard that people say that, they didn't like the actress or they didn't like the character. And then she joined another show and they're like, oh, she's going to ruin this. Like she ruined Lost. Like I've heard it time and time again. And it really bothers me because I enjoy her so much. And I think that she has this incredible nuance to her acting and she displays it so well, especially in this episode. I mean, abuse, long-term, like systemic abuse in an individual is so hard to portray. And I think that she does it beautifully.
Well, I mean, I know a big issue people had with Juliet's character, and maybe people held it against the character itself because of the relationship that ends up happening between her and Sawyer.
I love that relationship.
I do too. I think that's one of the strongest and best relationships that we actually see on the episode. But
100%.
It's kind of one of those situations where people wanted so badly for Kate to end up with Jack or Sawyer to end up with Kate, that when he ends up with Juliet, people are like, no, I don't like this at all.
But when you think about the two characters, Sawyer and Juliet, those two were incredibly broken characters by their past, and they completely repaired each other.
Yeah, they find strength in each other.
That's beautiful.
It is. It absolutely is. I mean, there are many different dynamic relationships that happen in this series. And when it comes to that, you have Charlie and Claire, you have Jin and Sun, and then you have Juliet and Sawyer. Mm-hmm. And all three of them are dynamic in their own way. But, Jin and Sun is one of the most tragic yet romantic stories that we get when it comes to relationships. But Juliet and Sawyer, whether people like it or not, is one of the deepest and strongest to me.
Yeah. And yeah, yes.
You know, because Jin and Sun, while again romantic and tragic, had its breaking points. Like there were moments where they wanted to leave each other. You know, they walked away from each other. But when Sawyer and Juliet find each other, they stay together until the end. It's another tragic ending, but they're together till the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, so I don't get why people don't like Juliet's character. And again, maybe it's because they held it against the character that Sawyer ended up with her and not Kate.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
I don't care. I think it's fantastic.
Have you heard the same thing? Because I feel like I've heard like a lot of criticism of Juliet and Elizabeth Mitchell playing Juliet. And it really breaks my heart because I really do truly love this character so much. I think that she adds a whole nother level to the show once she's kind of folded into the main storyline.
Yeah, she's one of those characters that at this point in the series, you know, by season 3, episode 7, she's still very complicated. You don't know where her alliances and her allegiance falls. But you're right. Once she's kind of mixed into the fold and she's heavily invested with Jack, because I think there were even people that wanted Jack and Juliet to get together. And you can kind of see it at certain moments that might have been the way it was going. But obviously things change in the series and things ended up very differently. Mm-hmm. You know, you're right.
To go back.
once she's mixed into the fold, you're right. Her character is so dynamic and so strong that she's probably one of my top 5 favorite characters of the series.
I would agree with that.
So, where else do you want to go? I mean, there's definitely some other notes I have.
I want to go to room 23. I want to go to room 23. Let me tell you something. This was up until I started watching like The Walking Dead and Game of Thrones and like some like scary shit. This scene like burned me to my core. I thought this was one of the freakiest things I had ever seen. Possibly it's up there even past some of the scary stuff I've seen today on television. It was so disturbing and so creepy that I still, like, even when I rewatched it last week, I'm watching it with my eyes wide open going, I can't believe that this was aired. I mean, it was disturbing, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, there's a number of different things to break down when it comes to that video.
Let's do it.
Okay. Why don't you give us the first one? Because I'm sure you have a list. Knowing you.
So what I have is scariest TV scene for me with lots of exclamation points and a lot of like, what the fuck is happening? So this obviously had a callback to A Clockwork Orange, Stanley Kubrick's A Clockwork Orange, where this was how they brainwashed the main character into being like not a murderer anymore. I've seen the movie once. It fucking disturbed me. I never saw it again. So a lot of that like uncomfortableness came back when they entered. I think like what would you do if you're on this island and you've been in a cage and you've been searching for boar and coconuts for the past like 2 months, and all of a sudden you're in this room and it's just flashing with these horrible images and subliminal messages and this kid who is completely drugged. His eyes have like these goggles on them and they're kind of he's being kept awake. He has drool coming out of his mouth. He's chained to this chair. I mean, this to me solidifies the villainy of the others. Nothing else will ever make it okay again for these characters to even be a little bit to give them any empathy or to humanize them at all. This villainizes the others for me, period.
No, I agree with that completely. I mean, you're right. I mean, it's just, who does this to another human being? It doesn't matter what your motive behind it is. It's obviously nefarious reasons why you're doing this, because this is torture. This is flat out torture. So the fact that you're doing this to another human being, doesn't matter what your reasoning behind it is, this is evil.
Yes.
So there is a complete breakdown as to the video. If you want me to run through some of the things that you do see in the video.
Yes, I do.
One of the first images that you see is plant a good seed and you will joyfully gather fruit. Those words are superimposed on a yellow flower, a pink flower, and an orange flower. The words everything changes are superimposed on pictures of 8 various antique coins, 1921 silver dollar, a wax cylinder on top of scattered pile of CDs, thick pipe with a wheel valve, a drafting compass, 3 electronic piano keyboards. So obviously things that have changed over time. Let's see. What are some other things here? I'm not going to go over everything because there's a lot. A statue of Buddha pops up at one point. A video clip of the Earth's moon as it changes from a half full to a full. We are the causes of our own suffering are words that are superimposed on a sequence of 6 stills of black and white insects and 5 stills of orange fish. An energy saver light bulb curves to resemble a yin-yang symbol. Let's see, a speedometer from a 1992 or 93 Honda Accord with a needle at 0.
Mm-hmm.
The words "God loves you as He loved Jacob." Superimposed on a picture of yellow carpeted stairs. A changing white squiggle, possibly a light bulb filament pattern imposed on the inside of a factory or similar facilities with many pipes, close-up of a stone wall, close-up of an African wooden mask, and Alivar Hanso in a window.
Standing in a building. Yep.
Think about and then your life in bold white letters superimposed on a black background, morphing into a matrix of images of a bee, a mask, and a black object with a round bottom. And then finally, partially obscured text, ER and Y superimposed on an image of Gerald de Groot with another phrase appearing to be another way. So, but not only that, there is reversed audio in this video. The woman that you hear talking is repeating, "Only fools are enslaved by time and space," which can be heard multiple times in reversed version on the brainwashed video. So if you take the words that you're hearing and reverse them, they are saying only fools are enslaved by time and space.
I mean, what?
Just the amount.
It is such a fucking right turn from what we have seen so far on this show. When you enter that room, the feeling, and I mean, great job to the director, the showrunners, the writers, to everybody, because this was a genuine shock to the system for any first-time viewer to enter this room.
Well, I want to throw hats off to one more person, and that's the actor that played Carl, because that is not a comfortable situation, even as an actor. Like, I'm sure he wasn't sitting there looking at those images. And even in the scenes where you see him facing the screen with the screen playing it, I'm sure his eyes weren't propped open like they were like Clockwork Orange wise, but that's still got to be rather unsettling. Even as an actor in that situation, it has to be unsettling.
Right. Yeah. And the music, the music was so loud. Like, you know what? Not only Carl, but also Alex and Kate and Sawyer, all of them, every single person in that room just sold that scene so well.
Well, I'm almost confident that music was added in post. Like that
Absolutely.
that really wasn't on set when they were in that room. Thank goodness, because that would be, again, another unsettling moment. But even the video itself, that's playing while they're in that room. That's just right. That's weird.
I'm wondering if there is any panels, like Comic-Con panels or anything like that, where those actors talk about filming that scene or talk about that scene at all. Because, I mean, to me, it was just such a different scene from what we have seen so far. And really what we see after, I mean, it's kind of a set apart scene of just the, I I don't have the right word, but it's just it's like this animalistic villainy. I don't know how else to say it. I can't. I don't know. I can't seem to empathize with anybody that is an other because of this particular Room 23 visual.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, and we do find out at some point, I don't know if it's something we've found out already or it's something we find out later, that there was somebody else who has been subjected to that room, and that's Walt.
Yep.
Walt has been subjected to that room before he was taken off the island with Michael.
But I think that Jin was also in that room in season 6, right?
That I don't remember. Yes, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. I forgot about that. Yeah, he's held in that room by Charles Widmore.
Right.
He's taken captive by Widmore. Yeah, I forgot about that. Wow, good call on that one.
Yeah, thanks. Well, I love Jin.
Are we talking about the character or the liquor?
Yes.
Okay. That's what I had a feeling that was going to be your answer.
I love me some Jin.
I want to kind of backtrack a little bit though, and talk about the scene leading up to Room 23.
Okay.
Which is
the Wookiee prisoners swap?
The Wookiee prisoners swap, which was so fantastic. Getting that reference from Sawyer. But I mean, there's a couple other things that happen in that scene. Obviously, we get to meet Aldo, which, as I've mentioned before, is played by Rob McElhenney from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. We find out also that we get confirmation that Alex is Ben's daughter, or at least she believes herself to be Ben's daughter, because this is the first time she calls him dad. So it becomes kind of confusing at this point as a first-time viewer, because we know that Alex is Rousseau's daughter, but Alex is calling herself Ben's daughter. So it doesn't become clear until later that, she was taken in by Ben. Ben is not a real father. But it's interesting that at this point we now get that whole, my dad was the one that told me to bring them here. She's confirming, at least from her own viewpoint, that Ben is her father.
Uh-huh. Right.
So, and I completely...
Well, I mean, she has no other reason to think otherwise.
Oh, no, it's all she's known, that Ben is her father. So, yeah, you're right. There's no other reason to think that. And I completely forgot, too, until watching this episode, that we do see Aldo again. I thought this was a one-and-done appearance, and then I remembered Rob's actually done 3 episodes of the show. We don't see him again until episode 6, or season 6. So when we find out his character has been moved to the temple, and we see him for 2 more episodes in season 6. But yeah, the Wookiee prisoner gag. Well, I can't believe you fell for the old Wookiee prisoner gag. That I love that. And while we're on it, real quick, there was 2 other moments with Sawyer that I absolutely loved in this episode.
Everything Sawyer does is wonderful.
When they're escorting Carl into the boat and he calls him Cheech.
Yes.
Just because of how drugged up he is. I love that moment. But the other moment I love too is we kind of, in Alex, we meet somebody who can kind of match Sawyer's sarcasm.
Yeah.
Because I forget what it is he says to Alex, but Alex rebuttals right back. And she's like, yeah, I'm also good at basket weaving. You want one?
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, holy shit.
Because he said something, it was something about the slingshot or making the foxhole or something like that. Yeah. And she's like, yeah, I'm also good at basket weaving. You want one?
You want one? I was just like,
get your head out of your ass. We got to go.
I'm just like, yes, that's amazing. She doesn't take Sawyer's shit at all, which I love.
Well, I mean, think about how much she has to take from her dad.
True. Yeah, very true.
It's a lot of, I'm angry at my parents, anger flowing through her and Sawyer, and really anybody that has a rough backstory or semi abuse of any type in their past. They've all got a little bit of an edge to them. I mean, everybody actually, Jack, Kate, Sawyer, Alex now, Juliet, everybody's got an edge, and it's all stemmed from this horrible backstory where everybody on this island has been chosen because they've been marginalized somehow.
Well, and a majority of it too, as I've called it before, this is the island of daddy issues. Jack with Christian, Kate with her father, Sawyer with, issues of stemming around his dad's, what his dad did, and now Alex dealing with Ben. That this is an island of daddy issues. There's really no denying it. So even Sun having issues with her father, Jin
had issues coming to grips with the fact that his dad was a fisherman.
Yes, this is an island of daddy issues.
It's so funny.
So, what about you? What's something else, if anything else, you have on your list?
So the only other thing that I have is just this whole thing about 3 minutes. Ben asked for 3 minutes when to talk to Juliet. It made me look back to when who was it? Michael had 3 minutes to talk to Walt. When he was being held captive by the others in that fake others camp. And then there was something, there's an episode called 3 Minutes, which I think is that same episode with the 3 minute discussion. Remind me, is 108 seconds, is that...
That's the total.
108 minutes. That's 108 minutes. Never mind.
Yeah, it's also the total of the numbers. The 4, 8, 15, 16, 23, 42. If you total them together, you get 108.
Okay. Because there was something else that was with 3 minutes. Like 3 minutes was like a thing. But I just thought that it was very interesting that that Ben asked specifically for 3 minutes. As he's lying there awake on the table.
I don't know. I didn't really I didn't really pay attention to the 3 minutes reference this time around. It didn't click with me. I mean, there could absolutely be something there, but for some reason that just didn't click.
Yeah, it says Jack tells Juliet that she has 3 minutes to speak with Ben on the operating table. She shortly thereafter kills one of her own people. This parallels the episode. This is interesting. This parallels the episode when Miss Cla tells Michael he has 3 minutes to talk to Walt, and shortly thereafter, Michael kills Anna Lucia and Libby.
Okay, so I guess there is a connection. I don't know what the connection to 3 minutes is yet at this point.
I don't either. Maybe it's a Jacob thing.
It seems like it's something we're going to have to pay closer attention to.
Yeah. Well, just because the only reason why I say it's a Jacob thing is just because it's very biblical. We get into a lot of biblical territory with Jacob and the man in black and their whole past and just the island's connection to everything. And 3 minutes could be kind of like a correlation with the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Which is the Trinity in the Bible, which is the power of 3. Yeah. So I'm just it's just something that I'm gonna put in the back of my head and stay aware of.
Yeah, well, we'll just have to keep an eye on it and pay attention to see if that number or maybe that period of time, that amount of time, kind of pops up in in something else or somewhere else. So.
Yeah. But that's all I have. We talked about Juliet. We talked about Room 23. We talked about Richard Alpert. So I'm out. What about you?
Just a couple other things. It's funny to note the numbers references in this episode in which, Room 23, obviously 23 is one of those numbers. Ben's blood pressure at one point is 108 before Jack kind of nicks the second artery and his blood pressure goes up. His blood pressure is at 108. Not anything too super. I think they're just references that they threw in there. The there's that final destination moment with Edmund when he's hit by the bus, and the Apollo bar advertisement that was on the side of the bus that hit him.
Yes.
The only other things I have, I mentioned Bye Bye Danny, which you mentioned Juliet killing one of her own in shooting Pickett. Tom Friendly being a mediator between everybody and him introducing himself to Jack. I'm Tom, by the way. Again, he's one of those characters that we're going to get to explore more as the series progresses because I love his character so much.
I really love him too. I think he's wonderful.
The only other thing I have, and this could be a loose connection, this could be me overanalyzing as I tend to do, and this is how I'll wrap up the topic of this episode. I feel like there is a very, very loose connection to Juliet and Desmond. And that is through Edmund. And I will explain. The 3 years, 2 months, and 28 days puts Juliet at a date similar to around the time that Desmond arrived on the island. Desmond arrived on the island from that sailing regalia that he was a part of. If you look at the scene with Juliet in Edmund's office, there is a sailing trophy behind him on the counter.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm wondering if Edmund was also a part of that sailing regalia previously, or maybe perhaps he won the one that Desmond disappeared during.
Oh, that's so interesting. I love that.
So again, it could be me totally overanalyzing, but why would you put a sailing trophy in that scene?
No, I mean, that's what this show is, though. It's not you overanalyzing. That's what this show is. This show is Easter eggs and connections. I mean, it's a puzzle. It's the first show that was like this. This is why we overanalyze now to this day, is because of Lost. So yes, of course that was there on purpose.
Yeah, it would have to be, because again, that would have to be a really strange coincidence that out of all the trophies you put in there, all the items that you put there, it's a sailing trophy.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because the timelines kind of match up.
Yeah, no, you're right. Oh, that's so interesting. Good catch.
So, yeah.
I'm off my game this month for various reasons, but that's such a good catch. I'm so glad that you caught that.
That was fun. It was a fun catch to make because I saw it and I was like, ooh, that's interesting. So, and it's funny enough too that the next episode that we get, which is Flashes Before Your Eyes, is a Desmond flashback.
I love
Desmond.
I
know. Henry Ian Cusick is fantastic. I love him.
You got to watch the 100. He's so good in the 100.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's another show I haven't seen before. So,
and I think he was in the first season of Scandal too. I was sad when he left Scandal because I don't think the show was really the same without him, even though he was only there for one season. But he's excellent on the 100. He's why him and Isaiah Washington are why I started watching the 100, and then I got sucked into that story. Like CW can do. Such guilty pleasure. CW, finding your guilty pleasure on television.
Hey, that's why I get into the DC shows. They're all on CW.
I know. It's like it's made for people that are clearly younger than us, and I don't care.
Hey, I started with CW early with Smallville. I was young enough at that point.
Dawson's Creek here.
So, no, actually,
back before it was called CW.
Yeah, it was WB, and actually, I take
the WB.
I take that back. I was a WB person even before Smallville and Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel.
Yep. See, we're the OGs
right.
of the Guilty Pleasure Network.
That is right. Yeah. So I think that wraps it up for the actual breakdown of the episode. Yep. With that being said, we do have some feedback this week, as we usually do. But before we get into that, if you want to contact us and leave us feedback of your own, which we highly encourage you to do, there are multiple ways that you can do that. First and foremost, we are on Facebook at facebook.com/Lost Revisited.
We're on Twitter because I did it.
Yes.
We're on Twitter.
Yep.
Woo-wee! And we're called Lost Revisited Pod, I believe.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Hang on.
Yeah, I was gonna say we should probably know that.
I'll get it. We are at Lost Revisited Pod.
Okay.
No, Lost Revisit Pod.
Okay. So Lost Revisit Pod on Twitter.
Yeah, because we're on Twitter. And I even put a we're recording tweet out.
Nice.
Yep.
I think we're just going to eliminate the Instagram. It's, we're better with Twitter.
Yeah.
Unless you want to use both.
I only do if we can actually find the Instagram password.
I'll take topics we should discuss off the air for 500, Alex. You can email us at lostrevisitedpod@gmail.com.
Oh, and if you want to record a message, you can do so by recording yourself, and you can email it to us at our email address, or I think you can also DM it to us on Twitter, send it to us on Facebook, whatever.
Yeah,
Carrier
DM
pigeon.
it to us on Facebook or Twitter. Carrier pigeon would be interesting, but we both have cats now, so it might not be the best option.
I know. I got a kitten.
You did.
Well, my daughter got a kitten.
He's adorbs.
He is. He's pretty cute.
But let's jump into our feedback as we have been in the past. We have a voicemail from our buddy Steve Brown and an email from our friend Des Combs. So I'm going to kick it off with the voicemail this time, and then we'll go into the email.
Cool.
So here it is, our voicemail from our buddy Steve.
Hello, Ben and Kristen. This is Steve, and this is for Not in Portland. So much in this episode that I had forgotten until I started watching it. Like, I had forgotten just how cold Juliet could be. I mean, knowing where she ends up in the series, so realizing there's even more growth for this character as well, and just realizing about halfway through, I was like, I think she kills Pickett at the end of this, and then seeing that I was correct, and at least that memory was nice for me to remember that. But there's a lot of stuff revealed in this episode, and I wish we could have seen Jack say, what did he say? I'm a spinal surgeon, not an anesthesiologist. I would have loved to have seen him actually say that line. I think that would have been funny. Maybe that's why they didn't do it, because they didn't want that kind of comedy in the episode. But also Jack's look at Tom when he's trying to be friendly to him. I just got that, Tom friendly. Okay. That side eye that Jack gives him when he goes, I'm Tom. It just kind of was great. And finally, just what do you think the lie was? Because I know you guys had the discussion about the fact that Ben didn't technically lie to Jack when he said, I can get you off this island, but he didn't say I can get you home. But yet he told Juliet he would send her home. So where was the lie, or do you think he actually was going to send Juliet home there at the end? And just a really good episode. I can't wait to hear what you guys thought. Talk to you later.
I love that he just got the whole friendly reference.
Oh, I just got that.
That was wonderful.
Yeah,
Thank you for that, Steve.
And we didn't talk about that line. Damn it, Jim. Damn it, Tom. I'm a doctor, not an anesthesiologist.
Yeah, that's no, I mean the whole lie thing. He's right. We talked about that last episode. In that, I think I don't know. There's a part of me that wants to believe that he told Jack what he needed to hear and was lying to him, saying like, I can get you off this, I want off this island. And Ben said, done. As in like, oh, okay. This is a different island. I just got to send him back to the other one. I technically wouldn't be lying. But there's also a part of me that wants to believe Ben was truthful and meant send him home. I don't know.
Well, I think that Ben is evil. I think that Room 23 proves that he had no intention of ever sending Jack home and just shipping him back off to the other island and technically telling him the truth.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's absolutely possible. It's all a matter of how you look at it.
Yeah, it's all subjective, I think, also.
Yeah,
I mean, it just depends on how you feel.
Yep. So that leaves us with the last bit of feedback,
which is from Des Combs. And Des writes, "Hey guys, I know you hear this a lot, but this is one of my favorite episodes, mainly because of Elizabeth Mitchell. Seriously, Ben, need to get her for Phenomicon. I second that."
Agreed.
So they start us out with the old gag, make us think that we're on the island, start out on the beach. Long gold grade hallways, Ethan even dressed Juliet and Rachel like others, and throw in a Dharma lamp in her room to keep up the illusion, then open a window and show us a big green screen Miami. It's hard to believe this was the first appearance of Richard Alpert. It feels like he's been on the show since the beginning. Haha, I see what you did there. Because he kind of technically is, because he doesn't age and he's been around since the 1800s, blah, 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 blah. The old Wookiee prisoner gag, classic. They really wanted to make sure that there was absolutely nothing likable about Edmund so that we wouldn't feel at all bad when he gets hit by the bus. Sidebar, I'd hate to think how many people would be dead right now if that little trick worked for me. Sorry, that was great. And finally, I don't know if it's because I've been watching Dancing with the Stars, but every time I see Pickett is on screen, I picture him as Sean Spicer. Talk to you later.
I don't know if that's a good thing that you see him as Sean Spicer.
I don't know. They're kind of the same
Maybe
type of person.
Maybe.
Anyways.
But no, yeah, thanks for that, Des.
Yeah, thank you, Des. And I agree. I love Elizabeth Mitchell on this show.
Yeah, I think she's a good choice for Phenomicon when that time comes. So we shall see. I'm trying to think of what else. I mean, the other things I know Elizabeth Mitchell as. I mean, obviously she's Mrs. Claus in the Santa Claus movies with Tim Allen, which I love watching every year. She
was also in Revolution. When it was on, it was very good.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. She was Rachel.
That was a show that was canceled too soon.
Way too soon.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she was in Once Upon a Time for a while too, which was another ABC show.
Yep, she was. I forget who her character was. I stopped watching Once Upon a Time when they did the Underworld season. I was like, yeah, I'm done.
Oh, see, I stopped after Frozen. So I think you went a little further than I did.
Yeah. And then the last season, they didn't have Jennifer Morrison wasn't even in it.
And I think her son was a different actor too, wasn't he? He was grown up.
Yes. Yes.
So, I didn't know she was in that movie. God, that's a movie she was in that movie. You remember the movie? Yeah, I know. It's probably better if I mention the movie.
Are you going to share it with everybody?
The movie Frequency with Dennis Quaid and Jim Caviezel.
Oh, wow. That's an old movie.
Yeah, but I like it. I think that's a great movie.
Yeah, I think I saw it once when it first came out and then never again.
She plays his mom. She plays Jim Caviezel's mom.
Cool.
The nurse that's murdered. Spoiler. Yeah, so thanks for the feedback, and obviously we encourage you guys to leave us feedback for all future episodes. Even if you get ahead of us, feel free to leave us the feedback, because we'll hold on to it until we record for that episode. So, because I think we already have feedback from Steve on next week, too.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So he's a little ahead of us. I know our friend Rachel is ahead of us, but, you know.
Hey, let's talk about, when does Manifest come back?
Manifest, I think, is a fall break show. So I think when a lot of the shows go on break, that's when Manifest comes back. I'm vamping because I'm actually looking up the I don't think it's coming, or no.
It doesn't have a date yet.
No, it's been renewed for a 2019-2020 season.
I know they're filming because I follow Josh Dallas on Instagram. He's so active on Instagram. By the way, if anybody wants to follow Josh Dallas, he's great. His Instagram is great. He's great. He's just great.
Prince Charming. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there is a date.
Spring 2020.
Yeah, okay. All right, so next year. Probably during Sweeps Week when a lot of the other shows go on break, that's when they'll bring Manifest back.
All right. Well, we have a little bit to go.
Speaking of Prince Charming, you introduced me or got me into watching a particular set of movies that I think you even talked about last episode.
The Descendants.
The Descendants movies. I can't believe I got sucked into watching all 3 of them.
I know you did. You texted me, I'm starting the Descendants 1. And then it was 4 hours later. And he's like, I'm on the 3rd.
Yeah. I can't believe I got sucked into watching all 3 of them. They are very, very obviously meant for kids and young adults movies. Yeah. But I actually enjoyed watching them. I thought there were definitely some fun moments. Yeah, agreed. I mean, it was kind of sombering watching the 3rd movie, knowing that Cameron had passed away before the movie released. But and he was great. He was so good in that role, and I loved.
He is a killer dancer too.
Yeah, absolutely.
From the very first movie, because I've seen them now hundreds of times because my kids have them on repeat all the time throughout the house, music, the videos, everything. He gave it 120% from the opening shot of the first movie.
It's kind of sombering knowing that, he passed away at an early age and didn't get to see the reaction and the and such from the movie debuting, but he's so good. The rest of the kids are so good. I actually really enjoyed how the movie wrapped, or how the series wrapped.
Yeah.
At the very end, I actually kind of really liked the 3rd one.
The third one is everybody's favorite in this house.
I think it's a lot of fun, and you are absolutely right in that you can kind of sense that Disney made the first movie as a made-for-TV film. And they didn't really know how big it was going to get because they bump up the budget in 2 and 3.
Oh, they do.
So, I mean, 2 and 3 is shades better than 1 when it comes to cinematography and effects. It's a lot better.
Yeah.
So, but they were fun.
But it's excellent. I'm so glad that you liked it.
Yeah. So, I mean, with that being said, anything you want to recommend to the listeners this week? Because I do have one recommendation other than The Descendants, obviously.
My recommendation was your podcast, man.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. And which I thank you for that again.
Yeah. And get a kitten.
Well, unless you're allergic, then don't get a kitten. We don't want to be responsible for that kind of thing.
Oh man, take some allergy medication. Get a cat.
Take a risk. Take a chance. No, the other thing I want to recommend this week is actually a book. I am a big fan of Neil deGrasse Tyson, who is an astrophysicist. And, I think some people tend to not get involved with Neil because a lot of stuff that he talks about can go over their heads. But he's really good about dealing and kind of dumbing down a lot of that stuff so that the general public can understand it. He just released another book, and it's called Letters from an Astrophysicist. I got the book for $15 in hardcover, which is actually a really good price for a hardcover book. And what it is, it's not anything. It's not like reading a Stephen Hawking book, which actually there was one in this episode. I forgot to mention that. In that Aldo was reading a Stephen Hawking book when he's jumped.
Oh yeah,
Alex.
Brief History of Time.
Yes. This book isn't anything like that. This book is simply, I think it's about 20 years of emails and letters that Neil has gotten from people who have followed him and have come to discover things about their life and things, just about themselves in following him and learning about astrophysicists. And
oh, that's so cool.
So he has published them in a book, and the book is it's so great because you read the insight that people have come to, and it touches on everything from people finding religion in astrophysics and people kind of getting a new perspective on religion from astrophysics, as in not believing any longer. He covers the gambit from, the afterlife to science to I highly recommend it. It's an easy read. So it's not something you have to sit and read. You can read it casually on your own because again, it's just a compilation of letters and emails. So you can sit down and just read one or two and then put the book down. It's like a toilet read book. as I've heard it mentioned, and he's even mentioned it as that too. Like it's something you can read while you're in the bathroom for a couple minutes.
Oh, I love that. What a great idea. That sounds wonderful. Yeah, I just recently got a Ruth Bader Ginsburg book that was called In My Own Words, and it's all of her writings from when she was like writing for her school newspaper in high school all the way up to her Supreme Court decisions. And it's really interesting as well. I love it when that kind of stuff is put together into a book and it happens. That's great.
Yeah. So Neil deGrasse Tyson, Letters from an Astrophysicist, because I'm a big fan of Cosmos too, which I thought he did a fantastic job when he brought that back to Fox. It's actually a series I've been itching to rewatch. I just haven't had the time. So, but with that being said, I think that just about wraps it up for this episode of the podcast. Next week, next episode of the podcast, Flashes Before Your Eyes, season 3, episode 8, which, as we mentioned, is a Desmond Hume flashback
with lots of Charlie and Hurley.
That's right. Wait, this isn't the van episode. That doesn't come to a later season.
No, that's Trisha Tanaka is dead.
That's right. That is one of my favorite moments of the series. Is the van down the hill? It's such a great
van
moment. I
down
love
by
it so
the
much.
river.
But unless you have anything else, that's gonna wrap it up.
Nope, I'm good.
All right. So with that being said, thank you as always for listening. We appreciate the feedback that you send us. Please feel free, obviously, to send us some more. Until next time, though, we'll see you guys further on down that rabbit hole. Take care.
Bye-bye.
We have to go back, Kate. We have to go back!